Welcome viewers to another Gleaner video podcast. Today we touch on a very topical issue in the Jamaican community at this time, the Patois Bible project. And with me to discuss the project are John Rooms, Wycliffe Bible Translators Executive Director, and Reverend Courtney Stewart, Executive Director of the Bible Society of the West Indies.
So, but it is so ironic that English is now doing to Jamaican what other languages to English.
So the problem with the negative commentary is really lack of knowledge, lack of information. The University of the West Indies have done the major portion of the language development for Jamaican already. And they will quickly tell you that it's not Patois anymore, but it's Jamaican. England English, France French, Germany German, Jamaica Jamaican. The language also exists in at least 6 different nations outside of Jamaica in the region, in
a version of our
the Caribbean. Yes, having been taken into those countries directly from Jamaica.
Okay.
Right? The Belize has a Creole and they've been doing their language development. That language is the same as the Jamaican language, and it was brought there, taken there by Jamaicans many years ago, went there to live, right? The same thing with St. Andrews and Providence Island and those. The same thing. Their language, that's the
Sea Island Creole.
St. Andrews, so they call it Sea Island. We have copies of that here as well. It's Jamaican slaves who migrated to these islands, and after the abolition of slavery, other Jamaicans continue to live there. They sound like us, they look like us, they have the same names like us, the Smiths and the Campbells and so on. And the language proliferated in those countries, in Nicaragua, in Panama, sections of
Nicaragua, Panama, Costa Rica.
Yes, Costa Rica. And the Antiguan Creole came directly from Jamaica as well. And these, where the development is taking place in any of these languages, they are saying, what about the mother of our language? They still call their language Creole or Island Talk and so on. Jamaica is saying Jamaican. And these people, once, because they're watching us, they're waiting for our development. Once it happens, they are likely to say, they speak Jamaican.
Gentlemen, the rest of the region is watching the Jamaican Patois Bible project, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Why are they taking an interest in it? What are the implications for them?
As far as they're concerned, when linguists go there to ask them about continuing work or doing work in their countries, the response that the English report to us is that almost all, without exception, say, listen, Jamaica, go to Jamaica. If it works in Jamaica, we will take our cue from that. Why? Because the Jamaican language is the most prestigious of all the English-based Creoles throughout the region. They take their cues from us. We are the leaders. And so much of what we are doing is not just for us who are Jamaicans, both here and in the diaspora. It is for the people of the region. It will, if once ours come out, or not one, when it comes out, it affirms everybody else that, listen, you are somebody in there too. And even though your numbers may be small, you are somebody. This is what Professor Netterford calls this modernization. You are somebody too. You have a language, it is yours. Speak it, own it, stand up in it.
You put down a man's language, you put down the man. And everything that emanates from him is viewed in that way. That's why we have certain behaviors in our communities. Because from we were little, even our parents who could not speak English were telling us in Patois that we must chat good, we not talk good, we must speak properly. Alright? So we're being told that what's coming from us is not good. And so our art, our music, and so on, everything about us have to be married and accepted, baptized rather and accepted overseas first before we appreciate them. Stories told of a man who is selling his art in the tourist sector, and the tourists come and look at this woodcraft that he had. And she's gloating over it. She wants to spend a lot of money to acquire it and so forth. And the man who made the thing nudged his friend and said, Kude, she don't have no sense. She don't wish that. Not so wood. And so our language is viewed like that. What comes from us is viewed like that. Put a man's language down, you put him down. And the other nations are just waiting to see what's going to happen with us. They are going to be uplifted. Our numbers are saying something like anywhere between 8 to 10 million people we are talking about here when you consider all of these nations around us, the Jamaican population, the diaspora of all of these nations put together, and those who are connected to us out there. It's a lot of people.
Okay. What next for the Patois Bible Project? And in terms of its relationship with the churches, are churches on board with the Patois Bible Project?
We're having a briefing for churches coming up soon where we're going to be updating the minutes, because we have been speaking with the churches over a number of years. I've been doing it, John has been doing it, and so we're going to be having a meeting with the leadership to update them on where we are. But what was interesting, John shared with me, and you could share with Mark and the viewers, about this conference you went to, and the minister wanted to ask. So they only had one question to ask.
Right. I actually met over 50 pastors from one denomination. Earlier this year, it was February, they were meeting together. And after I presented, I didn't go there to present on the language development issue. It was just missions in general, what was happening with the church across the world and so forth, and the needs that exist. And at the end of the presentation, I expected them to ask questions about what I spoke on. But what has become the norm is that after having spoken with the needs of other nations, about the needs of other nations, the general response is, so what about we same thing? What about our thing? So this pastor, well-respected pastor, high-profile pastor, stood up and carefully and painstakingly expressed the desire to ask one question. And his question was, is there going to be a Patois translation for Jamaica? And I was a little nervous about the question, because I don't know which side of the fence he was on. But I decided that the truth is always the best. And because of the discussions we were having with the Bible Society and we knew that the program was on. So I just answered in the affirmative. Indeed, the project is about to begin and has been going on for a while, but we are relaunching it. And the man was so happy. And he went on and admonished everybody else about the value of having this Bible. Turned out that many of those pastors were what you might say in terms of their background were sort of rural and so forth. And some of them were pretty old pastors and so on. And they one by one came to me and really commended us for what we're about to do. They were all speaking in Patois and feeling that no, something wonderful is going to enrich their ministry. It was important, very important to them.
I don't remember which of you was telling me about a trip to England, and the teachers there were asking about the Patois Bible. Tell me about that. Tell our viewers about that.
We were in Birmingham. We were launching the Christmas story. And here we were in this church hall. And we had set out chairs for 60 persons. More people started to come, so 70 chairs. And then we had exhausted all the chairs, and people were still coming. We had over 100 persons in the hall, standing room only. And essentially, I was making a presentation. But after a while, it became so interactive because after the presentation, what I was doing was really giving a rationale for what we're doing, and also talking about our language and the languageness of our language. It became so affirming that people were just talking and sharing their experiences. And typical Jamaicans, before I was finished making the presentation, they had formed a line, want to purchase it. But this is typical Jamaican. But 2 persons were there, and these were education people, persons involved in education. And they said to me, we need something like this, because here's